Welcome, I'm Tanya Beckett with a summary of BBC World News. Central Italy has been hit by a series of powerful aftershocks. They've hampered rescue teams on the ground who are racing to find survivors of Wednesday's earthquake. The number of people killed in towns near the epicentre has climbed to at least 250. The shallow 6.2 magnitude earthquake was centred between two small towns, Amatrice and Pescara di Tronto. Our correspondent Jenny Hill is in the tiny village of Casale, which is near Amatrice.
Well, this is the tiny, historic hamlet of Casale. It's one of dozens dotted around the countryside here. Tiny, very old places, very idyllic places. There were 20 houses here. There are just 3 left standing. Look at Casale now. Rescue teams who've been working here throughout the day, overnight, tell us that 15 people lost their lives in the earthquake. They were here in the darkness, pulling bodies from the wreckage of these homes. In fact, the last of those bodies has only just been loaded onto a trolley and taken away. It's extraordinarily distressing work for the rescue workers. It's also very dangerous. The ground here keeps shaking. It's not long since there was a violent aftershock which went on for really several seconds, knocking people off their feet. It's unnerving if you just experience it, but imagine being amongst these partially collapsed, unstable buildings when it happens. It's a very difficult job for the rescuers, and this region faces a very difficult time because their ordeal isn't, of course, yet over. The search for survivors goes on. They're still dealing with these terrible aftershocks, and at some point, of course, they're going to have to clean up and start thinking about rebuilding. I think Casale is really very striking because when you look at these houses here, you really get the sense of an idyllic place, somewhere people came to relax, had holiday homes, live and work, and just how quickly that fell apart.
Jenny Hill there. Other news now. An American Navy ship has reportedly fired 3 warning shots after an Iranian vessel made an approach at sea. According to a US defense official, the Iranian vessel carried out an unsafe and unprofessional maneuver near the Strait of Hormuz between the Gulf of Oman and the Persian Gulf. France's highest administrative court is deciding whether bans imposed by French cities on burkinis should be suspended until a judgment can be made on whether they are legal. The bans have triggered a heated debate on whether the burkini violates the secular principles of the French Republic. The Colombian President Juan Manuel Santos has ordered the army to observe a definitive ceasefire with the FARC rebel group, a day after the two sides reached a deal to end more than 50 years of hostilities. Mr. Santos said the ceasefire would take effect at midnight on Monday. The FARC declared a unilateral ceasefire a year ago. And that's the news this hour from BBC World News.
Now it's time for Business Live with me, Michelle Fleury, live from New York. Our top story today, messaging platform WhatsApp is open to business, allowing companies to text users on its service in the most significant privacy policy change since Facebook bought the company in 2014.
And I'm Tanya Beckett, live in London. 71 million young people around the world still will be unemployed by the end of the year, and 2017 could be even worse. Google, Facebook and Twitter come under fire from British MPs for not doing enough to tackle extremism and being the lifeblood of so-called Islamic State.
And fed up with central banks, a group of activists will have a one-on-one with top bankers to discuss their differences ahead of the Jackson Hole meeting on Friday.
And we'll bring you up to date with the very latest from the markets ahead of that meeting.